Hello, I'm Marcia Boyles, and I'm delighted to welcome you today to Vantage Point. This is a discussion program in which we present an issue of particular importance to our residents and try to present divergent points of view. So thank you for joining us.
Hi, I'm Kathleen Taylor. I'm the social work manager here at Green Spring and co-host for Vantage Point with Marcia. Today we had wanted to talk about the holidays a little bit, knowing that especially Christmas is a time there's a lot of pressure sometimes, a lot of weight on the holidays, a lot of emotions that come into play in terms of recollections of Christmases past and going into the future, what the holidays might look like, what changes might be occurring. So welcome to our show. And we hope we have a stimulating conversation for you. And Marcia?
Thank you. I'd like to introduce our guest today, Eloise Stinger. Eloise is pretty well known, having been here only a few years, but she's very active in the Players. You're co-chair of the Players, and also the head of the Newcomers Group that meets for lunch on Wednesdays.
Yes.
Eloise, we're delighted to have you here, and we're going to do something different this time that we haven't done before, may not do again, and that is that both Kathleen and I are also going to act today as guests. So we're each presenting a divergent point of view about our holidays. And so let's begin with you. Talk to us about how you now spend your holidays and how you in past years spent your holidays.
We now are very inclusive, include friends. I have 4 grandchildren in college and 2 small grandchildren. So we have not only the entire family, there are 13 of us now since my husband passed, there are 13. And we are always all together. But in addition to those of us who are a family, we have college students who haven't had a chance to go home at a different holiday. We have people from my daughter's churches or whatever who want to do something and don't have family close by. So we're all together.
Now you have 13 in your core family group.
I have 3 children, and each child has 2 children.
All right.
So that makes
how
13.
Many, so you have 13 in your family group, and how many?
Sounds like a big group, doesn't it?
Already, yes.
It usually runs anywhere from 22 to 30 something. It really depends. It really depends on who's going where or what's happening. For other holidays, for instance, for Thanksgiving, we have many more because there are more people. Many more? Because there are people who don't go home. This Thanksgiving, total around the fire pit at night, I think we counted 42. Because neighbors saw us out at the fire pit, and they all brought their chairs and their families over.
How long have you been pulling this many people together?
We used to do perhaps 30 because my siblings came. But now they all have children and their children have children, so we no longer do it with the siblings. So it's always been a big number, but it's always, in the past it was family. Now parents are gone. My brother and sisters all have so many of their own people. There would be no way, because they also include their in-laws and everything else. So it's still the same number, but it's a different group.
When you were growing up, did you have that many people? Was that the same tradition? No,
not at all.
So this is something that you sort of created with your family.
It just always seemed that my house was the easiest location and the right place for everyone to be. Now that I've moved here, we've moved everything to my daughter's house, which has worked out nicely.
Well, I had heard something about cookie baking.
Oh, yes. Yeah. We started in probably around 1990, my daughters and I, who were teenagers then, baking. Just enough for the family or as gifts. Last year, according to my son-in-law, who's a mathematician engineer, we baked approximately 10,000.
10,000 cookies.
And people, I believe you've all seen, people here who know me well have seen some of our pictures, but we have restaurant quality we bought from a restaurant company going out of business. We bought baker's racks, we bought everything else so that we have it. And the cookies go all over the world to people serving overseas who are friends of, especially my grandsons. Police stations, homeless shelters, fire stations, schools, every place. And to all our relatives and friends who are around the country. So.
That is truly amazing.
I know. So
And it starts this week. Tomorrow we start. Tomorrow we go
Tomorrow's
and we
D-Day,
start
huh?
and buy 50 pounds of flour, whatever we have to buy, and then all week we make dough individually at our own homes, and then my two daughters and I get together and we start Friday and we'll work through Sunday night.
wow.
So.
So what motivates you? This sounds to me like a lot of work.
I have
so
no idea how this got so out
so
of
how
hand.
did this craziness come about?
No clue how it got so out of hand. It just we always have so much fun when we're doing it, and it just seemed to
you?
get. We really do. We laugh. We have fun. We almost always have, in the past 3 or 4 years, foreign exchange students who are not allowed to work while they're in the country. My son-in-law is at a school. My daughter is as well, and then the grandchildren who are still in high school. They need jobs, but they are not allowed to work. But they come and they wash dishes for us, and they, man a mixer or do something like that. We have sealing machines to seal everything in the cellophane containers for each kind of cookie. They all do that. Then the kids all come, the teenagers all come with guitars at night, and it's a really, really wonderful, fun thing. But it's now just 11, 12, and 13 next week. I go out there Friday afternoon, and we just stay until Sunday night.
How
and
do you
work.
prepare yourself mentally and physically for this?
We have jobs like for the first hour or two, one person might man all the ovens. Then another, and we have it set out so we have a pizzelle machine, so that is done separately. We have several things that are no bake, so those are done separately.
Do you do decorating?
We don't do the fancy decorating with royal icing or anything. You can't mail those, so they're not as. We do some like that. My two granddaughters, who are now in college, will do the fancier ones and use them locally. But otherwise,
Well, that's extraordinary.
it really is fun. But we're starting to cut back. We
Only
always
do
say this
9,000
every
this
year.
year.
Every year we say we'll
Only
cut back.
9,
But
yeah.
this year I think we will. So many of my friends don't want sugar and sweets, and so we'll cut back a little.
But I think the very fact that you're giving them to the homeless shelters and police and fire departments and things of that sort, Eloise, is really a very generous kind of action.
Yeah.
It's fun to do.
Yeah, that's what I'm struck by as well, is there's a generosity about you opening your home up to so many different people as well.
That is really probably what's most important to me, is to have all kinds. We've even celebrated once. We celebrated Eid al-Fitr, the Muslim holiday after Ramadan, because we wanted to learn more. So we had a Muslim friend, and she came and taught us everything we needed to, or some of what we needed to know.
Wow.
So it's terrific to learn more about the world and about other people. And
Well, and this is certainly the attitude of holidays, isn't it?
Yes.
The very nicest part of holidays, the giving part.
Yeah, makes me feel inadequate.
everyone does, but everyone has different things. For me, the most important thing is that my children remain close to one another after
Yeah,
I'm gone.
I hear
That's
that.
the most important thing to me, and
We
this
should point out
encourages all that.
that your daughters are identical
are.
twins. So I would think they would be close no
They're
matter what.
very close to one another. They are. But there's another generation coming up. This year at Thanksgiving, we had my grandsons both brought girlfriends. Now that's a first. So I can see how things will change
But
as time goes
these
on.
family holidays are building those ties
Yes,
and
they
those
are.
relationships.
And the memories, do you remember how
Yeah.
funny it was
Yeah.
when this
Those
happened or when that, or,
connections, yep.
Whatever. So it does help.
That's really nice. Very nice.
Well, I think that's splendid, and what a fun description. Thanks for sharing that, Eloise.
Thank you for asking.
Yeah, absolutely. Kathleen, how do you
Right.
spend your holidays?
Well, I've been thinking, because I knew we were doing this program, I'm just trying to think a little bit about holidays, and I think that I was kind of an anti-holiday person for a lot of years. I think I was, I was rebellious. As a child, I was rebellious. And so I think a lot of the holidays just felt like a lot of work. And why do I have to go and hang out with all these people and family and stuff like that? So I think that that was my holiday for a while, was just sort of complaining about having to attend holiday functions. But I think that what really does happen when you have children and you have a family of your own is you become much more traditional. Mm-hmm. And so what I would say is that I think my kids made me like holidays, because they demanded that we do the conventional things that you have to do during Christmas. You have to have trees, and you have to have ornaments, and you have to have special foods, and you have to have cookies, though not 10,000. And so it's been good for me. I am learning from my children, actually, what you apparently already knew, which was
I'm older. That's the only reason.
But you knew it. You were doing it all along. That that those traditions do form those ties and build those connections. So my family is not anywhere near as expansive as yours. It's really just my immediate family, and my son has married, so right now there's only 6 of us. My husband is an only child. My brothers are relatively far away, and both of our sets of parents have died. So it really is just us, but we're trying to, in a smaller way, do exactly what you're doing, is to create those memories that we want to be able to build from. So it's just it's different, but it's the same, right?
Exactly. It's what you have in life and how you build on that.
Exactly.
Do you have any special traditions?
We sort of have a moving target of special traditions, but definitely the ornaments, bringing out the ornaments every year, and the ones that the kids made when they were in kindergarten, and so we'll put them all out, and hopefully, if everybody's not there when we do the tree, then we'll keep the kids' ornaments out there so that they can come and they can go, oh, why isn't that one on the tree? And then they get to put it on the tree. So that's always a big thing, and we still try to cram into one car, and sometimes illegally, because there's too many of us to fit in a car, and go look at the lights on different houses in the neighborhood that are known for having great displays. Mm-hmm. So that's something that we do, those are different foods. We have to have all the different kinds of foods that my kids like. So those are the kinds of things that we do.
The same thing that you've been serving every year.
Yeah, that's those are the things. Those are the ways that my kids keep me in line. Is I can't go offline in terms of what kinds of foods I prepare and stuff like that. So it's fun. It's different. How about you, Marcia?
I grew up in the Chicago suburbs, and we celebrated, I think, in very Chicago fashion, with the tree and the whole works, and always going down to Marshall Fields to have lunch under the big tree, and looking at all the wonderful windows that were just splendidly decorated by the State Street and Michigan Avenue stores. So that was certainly part of our tradition. My sister and I both went to Northwestern. I was in graduate school there, and she was an undergraduate when my mother died. And that was really the last Christmas time that we had as a family. So ever after that, my sister and I were really on our own. After I finished my doctorate, I went up to Michigan, and she stayed in the Chicago area and married. And I spent most of my Christmases with them. They had 3 children, upon whom I doted, and acted as Mrs. Santa Claus every year, bringing huge numbers of gifts, which I just adored doing. So over the years, we all were together for Christmas in increasingly elegant and nice Christmases at Williamsburg and more recently in Nantucket. And we reached a stage about 10 years ago where we looked at each other, my sister and I, and realized that their Christmas was spending the entire day opening presents with no music. And what I liked was no presents and all-day music. And so by mutual agreement, we decided that we really would do better to just talk on the phone on Christmas Day and not spend it together. So that evolved in that way, and I spend Christmas with friends. I decorate, or did it in Alexandria. Now, when I downsized to move to Green Spring, I decided my Christmases were going to be a tabula rasa. It was going to be a blank. It was going to be a blank sheet. I was going to come with nothing Christmassy that I had from the past. So I gave it all to my nieces and nephew, and came with nothing. And I went to CVS and I bought all sort of slightly tacky Christmas trees, things that whirled and things that, had sound and things that flashed lights. So I had little Christmas trees and little figurines and things of that sort. And I learned a wonderful life lesson that elegant and tasteful is very pleasing to the eye, but that slightly tacky is more fun.
Good to know.
That was an excellent life lesson. So I have all my little tacky things and am just happy as I can be. I play wonderful music, talk to everybody I know, all my friends and family, most of Christmas Day, and have dinner here with my Jewish friends that I thoroughly enjoy. So that's my Christmas, which is very different from you all's. I would feel a little less guilty, I think, if I were giving and baking cookies or with children, but that is not the case.
You've made your own holiday.
That's
I
right.
have.
I think all of our holidays are shaped as we are in some sort of way. So I think that's right. That fits.
Well, I wonder how many folks here spend Christmas very differently than they have in the past. I suspect almost everybody.
Yeah, I do too. And I think that there's new traditions being formed all the time. I just know, I think last week when I've been here about 10 years, coming down to the Village Square lobby and seeing the little village go, the little town come up with the train tracks and the tree go up. I'm like, oh, it's Christmas time now, the season has begun, because that's tradition here, and that's like, it's great to see that happen.
That's a good point. I think people really do enjoy helping decorate the tree. It does begin to feel, for those of us who have been here for a few years. Eloise, are you feeling that?
I've been here for 3 years, and I look forward to the shelves
Yeah,
outside people's apartments, waiting for
Right.
a similar, what they did last year or what they might do
Yes.
this
Yeah.
year. And that's
Yes.
always fun.
Yeah, people do holidays really well around here, with the shelves and the decorations on the doors and stuff. I think it's great.
Yeah, they absolutely do. And I think there's a lot of the groups entertain. There are luncheons, there are cocktail parties. There seems to be a lot going
There's
on.
a lot going on.
Do you have that sense?
Yes, absolutely. And I really enjoy it. I gave away all of my, not all, 95% of my Christmas decorations when I moved here, but I gave them to my children.
your kids,
So I go
right.
visit my things when I visit my children.
That's smart. That's very
And
good.
it's fun to,
Yeah.
to explain to the grandchildren, well, your daddy was 8 years old when he made this, and you're 8 years old now. What are you making? It's a fun way to
Do you have the feeling that both of you, that your kids really appreciate the traditions, and will probably carry on the traditions that you've instilled in them?
They will. In my case, they will definitely always get together. I don't know that necessarily everything will be the same. Now, as our family expands, each person has the opportunity to choose one dish that they have to have from my sons-in-laws, my daughter-in-law, everyone
That's
who's,
good.
which is great, but it's making for
a
an
lot
awful
of
lot of food. And so that will, I think that part will definitely continue, that they will always be together for these events, holidays, reunions, whatever.
Yeah.
What about you, Kathleen?
Yeah, I agree with what Eloise said, that I think that the kids want to be together at the holidays. So I think that that's going to be something that they're going to continue. And I think they're going to carry some of the traditions with them, and they're going to create their own, which I think seems to be a constant too. But yeah, the idea that they feel like they want to be together, with family during the holidays is great. I'm excited. I'm happy about that too.
And they're bringing new people in as as they marry, as they have children. They're bringing new traditions in that are different because there are new people involved.
Yeah.
Well, that's interesting that what both of you are really saying is the major issue, and that is that your family likes each other and are enjoying each other, and that there's a spirit because of that.
Yeah.
And that's probably the most important thing.
Yeah, and I think that with the residents here at Green Spring, I think that that's exactly what's happening too. That things evolve over time, and you do let go of your your whole 95% of your probably many boxes of ornaments, but you gave them to your kids, so things have continued in that way too. So I think that's the challenge sometimes as things change. We don't have to hang on too rigidly to the way that things were, but to just embrace the future and take the good forward and sort of leave whatever is getting to be a little bit too hard behind, and not feel guilty about that.
And that's the great advantage. I go to other people's, I go to my children's for holidays, so now I'm not the one doing all the preparation, and that's nice. I help, but it's
Was
nice.
it hard, Eloise? Did you find it difficult with that transition?
Nope.
In other words, turning over. Okay.
No, I
you
was
did
really
not.
happy to do it because I help. I go early and I
Right,
help, right?
right.
But it's nice to have another generation take over the really heavy work.
It is, yeah. It was kind of, when my son and his wife decided they were going to take on Thanksgiving, I did not feel bad about that at all.
You gave it up,
I
not
did.
reluctantly.
I'll do the sides, I'll do some desserts, and let them do the heavy
Exactly.
lifting.
This
Yeah.
Thanksgiving, we had 2 23-pound turkeys. So one has to be made the day before, and then one made the day of, and everything else. So there's a lot to do.
of
And the
work.
same thing will happen at Christmas, I'm sure.
Yeah.
It has surprised me that there are some folks here who are continuing to do the cooking and providing the Thanksgiving and Christmas dinners. And I think, oh my gosh,
I
in
admire
our little
them,
kitchens, and that they haven't given it up. And that's why I wondered whether you found it hard.
That was one of the easier things. It really was.
All right.
Yeah.
It's wonderful to be here and not have to do those. Can if I choose to, but I don't have to.
Exactly. Yeah.
Well, I guess you're both fortunate in having kids that were stepping up, and happy and willing to do those, to take it over in effect.
Yeah. It's fun. It's fun to watch them grow up and become adults and take on some of that responsibility. Absolutely. Yeah. And stay nearby.
Yes, that's the other big thing. My son
Yeah.
now lives in New York, and I'll drive up next week and spend time with them for the holidays. But he lived in overseas for 22 years, so now he was always home at Christmas. But still, it's nice to have him closer.
To have them close by. Yeah. Absolutely.
Well, and your grandkids, aren't they mostly in college in the area?
There are 4 in
And-
college in this area, and then my son has 2 much younger children. They're 6 and 9, and they were here last week, and the little ones spent the nights with me for a couple of nights, which was fun. So,
Here at Green Spring?
yes.
Yeah, that would be fun. Kathleen, are you seeing some folks that don't have family in this area having a harder time?
Not that I'm noticing. I mean, I think that in general, people make their lives here at Green Spring, and they bring together friends, or they create, again, as we were saying, create new traditions or create new ways to celebrate. And I do think that a lot of our residents have been in the area, so maybe some people have friends out in the outer community,
Right.
or they have settled here because their families have been there. So in general,
Most everybody has got
everybody
some
has
ties.
somebody, but also they have people here. You know, I think
Yes.
that that's the beauty of Green Spring is that you create new family. I mean, we just keep saying that
Yes.
you know, you're making friends and you're creating a new network of people to celebrate the holidays with. So I think in general, I feel that there's a, you know, celebration is happening here and people are in general very happy. So
Yes, I think it does feel like a community and a family. And now our Jewish friends, Hanukkah starts on Sunday night, I believe. So that's beginning. So they'll be celebrating as well with Hanukkah coming up. Well, I see that our time is drawing to a close here. Eloise, is there anything you would like to say as your final word?
Enjoy the changes.
yeah,
Look forward to the changes. Don't look back at good memories, but look forward to new memories.
Sounds like wisdom.
yeah, that's good. I can't say anything better than that. That's awesome.
Well, Kathleen, is there anything you would like to end up with here? And I know you have the announcements to read.
I do have the announcements, absolutely. But it's been great to talk about the holidays, and I think that sometimes the assumption is, as Eloise was saying, that when people move forward in life, that sometimes they look back and they feel sad and feel that they've lost things. And I think what we see here at Green Spring is the exact opposite of that. That people are continuing to grow and celebrate life, and you know, yes, it looks different, but that's good. Change is good too. So I just say I think we're doing a good job here at Green Spring and celebrating life.
Very nicely put. Yes. I think with that, then we will.
We're good with the announcements, huh?
I think we can close up, and you
All
can
right.
do the announcements.
Okay, I will do
I know
them.
this is your
this
favorite
is
part
my-
of the program.
This is my big stressor.